The life of a cell is divided into 3 stages known as the cell cycle, that being interphase, mitosis, and cytokinesis. Interphase is actually the longest stage in the cell cycle, and it's where the cell carries out their normal functions. During interphase, cells also perform DNA replication. DNA replication happens when an enzyme called helicase unwinds the DNA strand into a Y shape. Then, an enzyme called DNA polymerase attaches itself onto the open strands. DNA polymerase then adds complementary bases to the 2 open strands, the complementary bases being A and T and C and G. And in the end, we have 2 identical strands. That is how DNA replication occurs. During interphase, chromosomes are loosely coiled into chromatin. First, in interphase, growth and preparation happens, then DNA replication, and then continued growth and preparation. The cells can also check if their DNA is damaged, replicate their DNA, and check if DNA is replicated properly during interphase.
So mitosis is the second stage of the cell cycle and is usually the shortest. Mitosis is the process where the contents of a cell's nucleus divides into 2 equal and identical parts. The cell can only undergo mitosis when it passes through the checkpoints of interphase. So there are 4 phases in mitosis: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And they all make up the acronym PMAT.
The first phase of mitosis is prophase, particularly early prophase. In early prophase, the duplicated chromosomes form an X shape and have sister chromatids that were formed by DNA replication and are joined by centromeres. As well, in prophase, the nuclear membrane starts to break down and the nucleolus disappears. As well, spindle fibers that are like tiny tube-like structures made of protein begin to form from centrioles. The second part of prophase is called late prophase. In late prophase, the spindle fibers complete forming, and then the chromosomes attach to the spindle fibers at their centromeres, and then the nuclear membrane disappears.
So metaphase is the next step in mitosis. So metaphase occurs when the chromosomes start lining up in the middle of the cell, and that's due to the tugging action of the spindle fibers pulling the chromosomes. So the next phase is anaphase, and it's the third step in mitosis. So in anaphase, the spindle fibers begin to contract and shorten. This action pulls the centromeres apart, allowing the sister chromatids to move to the opposite poles of the cell. Once they separate, each sister chromatid is considered to be a chromosome.
Telophase is the 4th and final stage in mitosis. It occurs when chromosomes start to uncoil to become chromatin. In telophase, 1 complete set of chromosomes is now at each pole of the cell. As well, the spindle fibers begin to disappear and a nuclear membrane forms around each set of chromosomes. A nucleolus appears within each nucleus. Now, there are 2 nuclei in one cell and the cell is ready to divide.
So in cytokinesis, the cleavage furrow appears on the cell surface, marking when the cell is ready to divide.
Cytokinesis occurs once the contents of the nucleus have been properly replicated, and the cell then will begin to physically divide into 2 equal parts. Cytokinesis separates the 2 nuclei into 2 identical daughter cells. Cytokinesis basically occurs when the cytoplasm of the cell divides. Then the cell membrane pinches to form 2 identical cells, which those resulting cells are called daughter cells.